Welcome, curious minds, to G Fun Facts Online, the podcast where we dive deep into the amazing world around us and inside us. Today, we're embarking on a fascinating journey into your own brain. Ever wondered what makes you trust someone? Or why you sometimes choose to compete and other times cooperate? These are social decisions, the choices that shape our lives and relationships. And guess what? There's a whole lot of science happening behind the scenes, right between your ears. So, how does your brain actually decide to share your last cookie or stand your ground in a debate? It's not magic, it's a mind-boggling interplay of tiny biological bouncers, intricate communication networks, and ultimately, your actions. Let's peel back the layers, starting with the absolute basics. The molecular gatekeepers of our social world, ion channels. Imagine tiny, microscopic gates on your nerve cells. These are ion channels. Their job? To control the flow of charged particles, or ions, in and out of your neurons. This flow is what makes neurons fire, sending signals zipping through your brain. Now, scientists are still figuring out the exact A to Z of how specific ion channels influence complex choices, like whether to trust a stranger. But here's a crucial clue. When these ion channels don't work perfectly, due to genetic mutations, it can be linked to conditions that often involve social difficulties, like autism spectrum disorder. Researchers think these ion channel hiccups might affect how brain networks develop and function, leading to variations in how we communicate and interact socially. It's a huge puzzle, and figuring out how these tiny gates contribute to the vast landscape of our social lives is a hot topic in research. Okay, so ion channels are the fundamental gatekeepers. But where do these signals go? They travel through what we can call the brain's social network. And spoiler alert, there isn't one single social button in your brain. Instead, it's a team effort, a network of interconnected regions working together. Let's meet some of the key players. First up, the prefrontal cortex, or PFC. Think of it as the brain's CEO, its executive control center. Located right behind your forehead, the PFC is where the heavy lifting happens. It helps you weigh options, think about future consequences, and pull in social rules and past experiences when you're deciding what to do. It's all about higher-order thinking, planning, and reasoning in social situations. For example, recent studies have shown that specific pathways, starting in a part of the PFC called the dorsomedial PFC, can actually orchestrate whether we act competitively or more submissively. It's like having different neural pathways that can either hit the compete gas pedal or the back down brake. Next, let's talk about the amygdala. This almond-shaped structure is famous for processing emotions, especially fear and threats. But it's not just about danger. The amygdala is super important for reading social cues, deciding who to trust, and figuring out how rewarding a social interaction might be. There's even a neuropeptide, you might have heard of it, oxytocin, sometimes called the love hormone, that can tweak the amygdala's activity, making us less reactive to scary social signals and more trusting. Then there's the wider limbic system, which includes the hippocampus. This system, along with the amygdala, helps process emotions and lock in memories related to our social encounters. Ever get a gut feeling about someone based on a past experience? Your limbic system is likely at work. Now, who likes rewards? Your brain certainly does. Meet the striatum, particularly a part called the nucleus accumbens. This is a core part of the brain's reward system. It's what gets you moving towards goals, including social ones, like making a new friend. Dopamine, that famous feel-good chemical, plays a starring role here, with dopamine-releasing neurons projecting to the nucleus accumbens to energize our social approach and reward-seeking. And we can't forget the anterior cingulate cortex, ACC, and the insula. These regions are like the brain's social referees. They get active when we experience social pain, like being excluded, and they're involved in empathy, fairness, and spotting when social rules are broken. Ever felt that pang of unfairness in a game? Your insula might be firing up. Speaking of dopamine, these dopaminergic circuits are absolutely central. They're not just about feeling good, they drive our motivation in social settings. And here's a really cool bit from research on mice. These dopamine circuits can be different in males and females, influencing who they prefer to hang out with. For male mice, one dopamine pathway drives their interest in females for reproductive reasons, while another, linked to survival, influences interactions with other males. It's a balancing act between these circuits. Female mice, interestingly, seem to use one main dopamine circuit for both male and female social preferences, but the neurons fire differently depending on the situation. How amazing is that? So we have all these parts, but our social behavior isn't set in stone, right? We adapt. We're different with our boss than with our best friend. This incredible flexibility comes from the brain's ability to change, what scientists call plasticity. Neurons can change. The connections between them can get stronger or weaker. Neuromodulators, like the oxytocin we mentioned, or serotonin, act like tuning knobs for these social brain networks, subtly adjusting how they function to fit the current social scene. Scientists learn a ton about our social brains by looking at other species too, from monkeys to mice. It turns out, some of the basic wiring for social behavior is ancient, shared across many animals, while other aspects might be more unique to us humans and our primate cousins. They even use game theory in labs, setting up little economic games to study how we make social decisions in a controlled way. Combine this with super cool tech, like fMRI brain scans, optogenetics, using light to control neurons, and tracing neural circuits, and our understanding is growing by leaps and bounds. So what's next? Researchers are digging deeper into those tiny ion channels, trying to pinpoint their exact roles. They want to understand how all these different brain circuits chat with each other to produce complex social decisions and map out the nuts and bolts of brain plasticity in social contexts. Ultimately, the big dream is to translate these discoveries into better ways to understand and potentially help with social difficulties seen in various neuropsychiatric conditions. The way we connect, cooperate, and build societies all starts with these intricate dances of ions, neurons, and brain regions. It's a universe within us, constantly working to navigate the social world. And that's our deep dive for today on G Fun Facts Online. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the social brain. Until next time, stay curious,